From a flicker of candlelight in 1789 to the glare of modern screens in the West Wing, every president has held the pen. Executive orders not passed by Congress, but etched into law by command. Some shaped history. Some sparked controversy. Others were forgotten. Until now. This is where we break them down. Every signature, every shift in power, every consequence still felt today. From Washington to Biden, welcome to Executive Order Watch.
Democracy, we live for it. For democracy, we fight for it. For democracy, we've died for it. And for democracy, we watch it. This is Executive Order Watch.
Well, the year 2000, my last lap in the Oval Office, and I knew it. 8 years as President of the United States, 8 years of challenge, of change, and of charting a new course for America. And in 2000, the American people stood at the edge of a brand new century with everything to gain and everything to protect. Now, I'll be honest with you, I came into that year knowing every move would matter. The historians were watching, but so were the families, the farmers, the workers, the students, the folks who'd been with us the whole way. And I wanted to finish strong. Let's talk about where we were. We had the strongest economy in a generation. Over 22 million new jobs created under my administration, unemployment near record lows, home ownership at all-time highs, and for the first time in 40 years, we were running a budget surplus, not a deficit. We'd turned the corner. We weren't just talking about prosperity, we were living it. But we knew prosperity wasn't permanent, not unless we built a bridge that everybody could walk across. So we focused on investing in people, in technology, in education, in opportunity. We launched the New Markets Initiative, opening doors in communities that Wall Street had left behind. We made sure schools had access to the internet, and we kept fighting for a patient's Bill of Rights because health care shouldn't depend on your zip code. And overseas, we didn't blink. We helped bring peace to Northern Ireland. We stayed engaged in the Middle East, trying to bring Israelis and Palestinians back to the table. We warned the world about HIV/AIDS, not as a distant problem, but as a human crisis that needed American leadership. I put forward the largest international investment in AIDS relief any U.S. president had ever proposed at the time. We expanded trade, pushed for environmental protections, and remained a firm voice for democracy and global cooperation. Now, I'm not going to pretend it was all ease. The dot-com bubble was starting to shake. Russia was changing fast under Vladimir Putin. We were learning just how connected and fragile the global economy really was. And of course, I was handing over the baton with the 2000 election underway. And though it turned out to be one of the most contested elections in our history, I stayed back. Because I believed then, and still do, that presidents have to put country before politics. But while the campaigns played out, I kept working because the presidency doesn't pause for politics. And even in the final year, you've got the power and the duty to act. Which brings us to the executive orders. Now, I issued several that year. Some you might have heard about. Some flew under the radar. But they all had one thing in common. They reflected the values we fought for across two terms, from protecting public lands and civil rights to advancing tribal sovereignty, digital policy, and national security. Those orders helped cement the legacy of our administration. And more importantly, they helped prepare America for what was coming next. So in the next segment, we're going to walk through the top 10 executive orders of the year 2000. Not just what I signed, but why I signed it. Because leadership's not just about the speeches or the spotlight, it's about the signatures, the quiet decisions that carry forward long after you're gone. I'll see you there. Executive Order 13,145 to prohibit discrimination in federal employment based on genetic information on February 8, 2000. Executive Order 13,146 President's Council on the future of Princeville, North Carolina on February 29, 2000. Executive Order 13,147 White House Commission on Complementary and Alternative Medicine Policy on March 7, 2000. Executive Order 13,148 Greening the Government Through Leadership in Environmental Management on April 21, 2000. Executive Order 13,149 Greening the Government Through Federal Fleet and Transportation Efficiency on April 21, 2000. Executive Order 13,150 Federal Workforce Transportation on April 21, 2000. Executive Order 13,151 Global Disaster Information Network on April 27, 2000. Executive Order 13,152 Further Amendment to Executive Order 11478 Equal Employment Opportunity in Federal Government on May 2, 2000. Executive Order 13,153 Actions to Improve Low-Performing Schools on May 3, 2000. Executive Order 13,154 Establishing the Kosovo Campaign Medal on May 3, 2000. Executive Order 13,155 Access to HIV/AIDS Pharmaceuticals and Medical on May 10, 2000. Executive Order 13,156 Amendment to Executive Order 12,871 regarding the National Partnership Council on May 17, 2000. Executive Order 13,157 Increasing Opportunities for Women-Owned Small Businesses on May 23, 2000. Executive Order 13,158 Marine Protected Areas on May 26, 2000. Executive Order 13,159 Blocking Property of the Government of the Russian Federation relating to the disposition of highly enriched uranium extracted from nuclear weapons on June 21, 2000. Executive Order 13,160 Non-discrimination on the basis of race, sex, color, national origin, disability, religion, age, sexual orientation, and status as a parent in federally conducted education and training programs on June 23, 2000. Executive Order 13,161 Establishment of the Presidential Medal of Valor for Public Safety Officers on June 29, 2000. Executive Order 13,162 Federal Career Intern Program on July 6, 2000. Executive Order 13,163 Increasing the opportunity for individuals with disabilities to be employed in the federal government on July 26, 2000. Executive Order 13,164 requiring federal agencies to establish procedures to facilitate the provision of reasonable accommodation on July 26, 2000. Executive Order 13,165 creation of the White House Task Force on Drug Use in Sports on August 9, 2000. Executive Order 13,166 improving access to services for persons with limited English proficiency on August 11, 2000. Executive Order 13,167 Amendment to Executive Order 13,147 on September 15, 2000. Executive Order 13,168 President's Commission on Improving Economic Opportunity in Communities Dependent on Tobacco Production while Protecting Public Health on September 22, 2000. Executive Order 13,169 Assistance to Small Business Exporters and Dislocated on October 6, 2000. Executive Order 13,170 Increasing Opportunities and Access for Disadvantaged Businesses on October 6, 2000. Executive Order 13,171 Hispanic Employment in the Federal Government on October 12, 2000. Executive Order 13,172 Amendment to Executive Order 13,078 on October 25, 2000. Executive Order 13,173 Interagency Task Force on the Economic Development of the Central San Joaquin Valley on October 25, 2000. Executive Order 13,174 Commission on Workers, Communities, and Economic Change in the New Economy on October 27, 2000. Executive Order 13,175, consultation and coordination with Indian tribal governments on November 6, 2000. Executive Order 13,176, facilitation of a presidential transition on November 27, 2000. Executive Order 13,177, National Commission on the Use of Offsets in Defense Trade and President's Council on the Use of Offsets in Commercial Trade on December 4th, 2000. Executive Order 13,178, Northwestern Hawaiian Islands Coral Reef Ecosystem Reserve on December 4th, 2000. Executive Order 13,179, providing compensation to America's nuclear weapons workers on December 7th, 2000. Executive Order 13,180, Air Traffic Performance-Based Organization on December 7th, 2000. Executive Order 13,181, to protect the privacy of protected health information and oversight. Investigations on December 20, 2000. Executive Order 13,182, adjustments of certain rates of pay on December 23, 2000. Executive Order 13,183, establishment of the President's Task Force on Puerto Rico's status on December 23, 2000. Executive Order 13,184, revocation of Executive Order 12834 on December 28, 2000. Executive Order 13,185, to strengthen the federal government university research partnership on December 28, 2000. The year 2000. Executive Orders. Executive Order 13,186, responsibilities of federal agencies to protect migratory birds on January 10, 2001. Executive Order 13,187, the President's Disability Employment Partnership Board on January 10, 2001. Executive Order 13,188, amendment to Executive Order 13,111, extension of the Advisory Committee on Expanding Training Opportunities on January 12, 2001. Executive Order 13,189, Federal Interagency Task Force on the District of Columbia on January 15, 2001. Executive Order 13,190, President's Commission on Educational Resource Equity on January 15, 2001. Executive Order 13,191, implementation of the African Growth and Opportunity Act and the United States Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act on January 17, 2001. Executive Order 13,192, lifting and modifying measures with respect to the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Serbia, and Montenegro on January 17, 2001. Executive Order 13,193, federal leadership on global tobacco control and prevention on January 18, 2001. Executive Order 13,194, prohibiting the importation of rough diamonds from Sierra Leone on January 18, 2001. Executive Order 13,195, Trails for America in the 21st Century on January 18, 2001. Executive Order 13,196, final Northwestern Hawaiian Islands Coral Reef Ecosystem Reserve on January 18, 2001. Executive Order 13,197, government-wide accountability for merit system principles, workforce information on January 18, 2001.
It wasn't just the
where we deliver happiness one slice at a time. What's your craving today?
Yeah, hi. Is Seymour there?
Oh, Seymour. I think he might be busy making our special pies. But hey, why not swing by the pizzeria? We've got a pie with your name on it. Anything else I can help you with?
I was looking for Seymour Butts.
Ah, I see. Well, if you're looking for Seymour Butts, he might be hiding behind a pepperoni slice. Anything else I can do for you today?
No, that's it.
Hi, I'm Terrence, a marketing professional with a passion for helping your business grow smarter and faster. Here at DaBomb Digital Media, based right here in Atlanta, Georgia, we specialize in bringing your vision to life. Whether you're launching your first website or reimagining your entire digital presence, we've got you covered. From modern website design and search engine optimization to setting up your own AI-powered agency tools, we deliver innovative solutions that keep you ahead of the curve. Ready to unlock your business's full potential? Let's build something remarkable together. For more information, visit our YouTube channel. Just search DaBomb Digital Media on YouTube and start exploring tips, success stories, and everything you need to elevate your brand.
It wasn't just the end of a century, it was the end of an era. America stood at the height of its power, peace at home, prosperity in full swing, but also uncertainty in the air. And right there, guiding the country through it all, was President Bill Clinton, wrapping up 8 years in office, 8 years of change, 8 years of navigating between progress and politics. By 2000, the economy was still booming. We had budget surpluses, not deficits. Unemployment was low, wages were rising, and our country was riding the digital wave. Hard drives, fiber optics, the first smartphones just around the corner. We were no longer talking about the information age, we were living in it, but we also knew things could shift. The dot-com bubble was beginning to wobble. Global markets were tightening. And the 2000 election? Well, we all remember how that turned out. Contested, razor-thin, and deeply symbolic of how divided things were becoming. Now, in the middle of all that, President Clinton kept the work going. He didn't coast to the finish line. He didn't fade into the background. He governed until the final hour. And one of the most powerful tools at his disposal was the executive order. Let me be clear. Clinton's executive orders in 2000 weren't filler. They were bold, focused, measured. They were about legacy, yes, but they were also about preparing the country for the next administration, whoever that might be. He signed orders to protect public lands, including the northwestern Hawaiian Islands, establishing one of the largest marine reserves in the world. He issued directives to increase opportunities for minority-owned businesses, to fight discrimination in federal employment, to expand protections for people with disabilities, and to preserve privacy in health investigations, long before digital medical records became the norm. He responded to the rise of genetic science with protections against genetic discrimination in hiring, an issue just beginning to surface, but one that today, with DNA testing in every pharmacy, matters more than ever. He pushed for language access for people with limited English proficiency, ensuring that critical government services reached all Americans. He addressed nuclear safety, public health, tobacco communities, Kosovo veterans, AIDS medication access, and even laid the groundwork for a smoother presidential transition, which, as history would show, would be needed. These executive orders weren't about making headlines. They were about making sure the government worked for people. And that, my friends, is the hallmark of good governance. Not how loud you speak, but how deeply your work reaches. Now, did every order hit its mark? Number, that's the reality of leadership. Some were symbolic, some were forward-looking, some would only show their power years down the line, but together they told a story. A president finishing what he started and doing everything he could to hand off a stronger nation. So next, let's dig into the details. The top 10 executive orders of 2000, the ones that made the biggest impact, the ones that carried forward into our own time, and the ones you may have never heard of, but are still shaping lives today. Stick with me. Because when the cameras go off and the speeches are done, it's those quiet, powerful signatures that speak the loudest. You know, when we look back on the year 2000, it wasn't just the final chapter of the 20th century. It was the first breath of the 21st. President Bill Clinton, he didn't slow down. He issued over 40 executive orders that year, each one aimed at securing what we had built and preparing for what was coming. Now let's talk about what those executive orders meant, not just for that moment in time, but for this one, right here, right now. He signed orders to combat genetic discrimination, long before most people even knew what a genome was. Today, with AI and precision medicine moving at lightning speed, that foresight still protects millions from having their DNA used against them. He improved access for people with disabilities, required reasonable accommodations in federal workplaces, and launched internship programs to give disabled Americans a real shot at federal careers. 25 years later, that's become a foundation for how the federal workforce defines inclusion. He issued sweeping environmental protections, especially Executive Order 13,178, establishing the northwestern Hawaiian Islands Coral Reef Ecosystem Reserve. That wasn't just a feel-good gesture. It helped lay the groundwork for marine conservation that still shields vital ecosystems from overfishing and climate impact to this day. And you want to talk about vision? Clinton signed an order to ensure people with limited English proficiency could access government services. Flash forward, that order still guides federal agencies serving our diverse nation today, helping families navigate healthcare, education, and disaster relief in the language they understand best. But 2000 wasn't just about internal policy. Let's zoom out to the world stage. That year, Vladimir Putin became president of Russia. We were beginning to see a different tone from Moscow, one that would become much clearer in the years ahead. In Yugoslavia, President Slobodan Milosevic was overthrown, partly due to NATO interventions and diplomatic pressure, including American leadership. Clinton's executive orders from earlier years and support for the Kosovo campaign culminated in EO 13,154 that year, honoring our troops with a new campaign medal. And back home, well, we had our share of history. The dot-com bubble was inflating fast, about to burst. The 2000 census was underway, reshaping congressional maps. Bush versus Gore and the chaos in Florida were just months away. And all of it took place under the shadow of Clinton's impeachment trial, still fresh in the rearview mirror. Despite the noise, President Clinton kept issuing policy quietly, precisely, and relentlessly through those executive orders. Each one was a needle moved forward, a door opened, or a fence placed around something worth protecting. And now, here in 2025, we're still feeling the ripples. From climate protection, to digital privacy, to civil rights, to veteran support, many of the ideas Clinton encoded in those orders are now institutionalized, expanded by both Democratic and Republican administrations. That's the real power of executive action. Not just what it does in a moment, but what it sets in motion for generations. So let's take a closer look. Next, we'll break down the top 10 executive orders of the year 2000. The ones that mattered most then and still echo now. Because history isn't just something we look back on. It's something we live through. Let's get into it. Here is the top 10 executive orders of the year 2000, issued by President Bill Clinton, now with the numbers spelled out. Number 10, Executive Order 13,179, providing compensation to America's nuclear weapons workers. Signed. December 7th, 2000 summary. Established a framework to compensate individuals who developed cancer and other diseases due to exposure while producing nuclear weapons during the Cold War. Impact in 2000 acknowledged decades of government silence regarding atomic worker exposure, provided a formal path for financial restitution. Lasting effect, the energy employees. Occupational Illness Compensation Program, EEOICP, still operates today, distributing billions to victims and their families. Why it mattered, a rare moment of government accountability for its Cold War workforce. Number 9, Executive Order 13,166, improving access to services for persons with limited English proficiency. Signed, August 11, 2000 summary, mandated that federal agencies and recipients of federal funds ensure meaningful access to services for individuals with limited English proficiency, LEP. Impact in 2000 transformed public service delivery in healthcare, education, and emergency response. Lasting effect, still in use today, has shaped language access policies across all levels of government. Why it mattered. Civil rights expanded, not by race or creed, but by language. Number 8, Executive Order 13,145, to prohibit discrimination in federal employment based on genetic information. Signed, February 8, 2000 summary. Prevented federal agencies from making employment decisions based on genetic test results. Impact in 2000, preempted the misuse of emerging genetic data in hiring or firing decisions. Lasting effect, laid the groundwork for the 2008 Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, GINA. Why it mattered, anticipated a future challenge, and neutralized it before it became a crisis. Number 7, Executive Order 13,150, Federal Workforce Transportation. Signed April 21, 2000. Summary, provided federal employees subsidies to use public transit for commuting. Impact in 2000, encouraged sustainability, reduced traffic, and improved government employee morale. Lasting effect, remains part of the federal benefit system today, contributing to greener urban infrastructure. Why it mattered, small perk, big ripple effect. Number 6, Executive Order 13,148, greening the government through environmental management. Signed April 21st, 2000. Summary: directed federal agencies to reduce toxic releases, improve energy use, and implement environmental reporting. Impact in 2000. Created a culture of sustainability within the government. Lasting effect. Paved the way for deeper climate-focused executive orders by future presidents. Why it mattered. Government led by example in environmental responsibility. Number 5, Executive Order, 13,158, Marine Protected Areas. Signed, May 26, 2000. Summary: instructed federal agencies to identify, preserve, and expand marine protected areas. Impact in 2000. Initiated a federal commitment to safeguarding ocean ecosystems. Lasting effect. Formed the policy backbone for vast marine sanctuaries under later administrations. Why it mattered. Marked a shift in conservation from the land to the sea. But number 4. Executive Order 13,163, increasing the opportunity for individuals with disabilities to be employed in the federal government. Signed July 26, 2000. Summary: mandated federal agencies actively recruit, hire, and retain employees with disabilities. Impact in 2000, reinforced the ADA's legacy by driving inclusion into the nation's largest employer. Lasting effect, still a pillar of federal hiring policy for disabled Americans. Why it mattered. From accessibility to access, real opportunities, not just compliance. Number 3, Executive Order, 13,154, establishing the Kosovo Campaign Medal. Signed May 3, 2000. Summary: created a new military campaign medal for those who served in and around Kosovo. Impact in 2000, gave visible recognition to American troops deployed in the Balkans. Lasting effect, became a lasting symbol of U.S. support for post-genocide peacekeeping. Why it mattered. Honoring service is part of building trust between a nation and its defenders. Number 2, Executive Order 13,164, requiring federal agencies to establish procedures to facilitate reasonable accommodation. Signed July 26, 2000. Summary: directed agencies to create internal systems for handling disability accommodation requests. Impact in 2000, improved access and responsiveness for thousands of federal workers. Lasting effect, still used today as the procedural standard across government offices. Why it mattered, turned rights into reachable solutions, systematically and respectfully. Number 1. Executive Order 13,178, Northwestern Hawaiian Islands, Coral Reef Ecosystem Reserve, signed December 4, 2000. Summary: protected over 84 million acres of ocean, one of the largest marine reserves in the world at the time. Impact in 2000, immediately restricted harmful fishing and extraction, protected endangered species and coral habitats. Lasting effect, laid the foundation for Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, later expanded and globally recognized. Why it mattered. This wasn't just environmentalism, it was planetary foresight. Clinton ended his presidency with a declaration that our oceans mattered just as much as our mountains.
Ladies and gentlemen, seekers of truth, defenders of accountability, and champions of civic memory, welcome back to Executive Order Watch, where we journey deep into the legal arteries of the American presidency. Not with bias, not with blinders, but with the fire of curiosity and the light of discernment. Today, we reflect on the second term of President William Jefferson Clinton, a time of global acceleration, domestic contradiction, and presidential resolve tested under the heat lamp of scandal and historic transition. Between 1997 and 2001, President Clinton issued nearly 150 executive orders, more than a handful of which shaped, if not sculpted, the political and legal landscape of the modern United States. And while many served as quiet milestones of progress, others became whispers of missed opportunities, or worse, warnings ignored. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about the best and the worst, the 5 best executive orders of Clinton's second term. Number 1, Executive Order 13,166, Improving Access to Services for Persons with Limited English Proficiency, 2000. A quiet revolution. This EO mandated federal agencies and those receiving federal funds to provide access to services in languages other than English. At a time when globalization was not just theory, but lived reality. This executive order brought the federal government closer to the people, no matter their native tongue. It affirmed that government isn't just for those fluent in policy jargon or English grammar. It's for the people. Number 2, Executive Order. 13,175, Consultation and Coordination with Indian Tribal Governments, 2000. Clinton acknowledged what too many ignored: sovereign tribal nations had been steamrolled by federal bureaucracy for decades. This EO didn't erase centuries of wrong, but it began a modern standard of consultation, respect, and partnership. To this day, Executive Order 13,175 remains the backbone of federal tribal policy frameworks. Number 3, Executive Order 13,145. To prohibit genetic discrimination in federal employment, 2000. In the age of the Human Genome Project and rapid biotechnology, Clinton preemptively protected Americans from the dark potential of genetic profiling. This EO laid critical groundwork for laws like GINA, Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, and preserved the principle that your DNA is not your destiny in the workplace. Number 4, Executive Order 13,084. Consultation with Indian Tribal Governments, 1998. A precursor to 13,175, this EO called for greater cooperation between federal departments and tribal governments. Though eventually superseded, it marked the beginning of a permanent shift in federal mindset. Indigenous self-determination was no longer a slogan. It began to take on the form of policy. Number 5, Executive Order 13,158, Marine Protected Areas, 2000. America. Some write history with blood, some with laws, but the sharpest stroke comes from the pen. Executive power ain't just a tool, it's a weapon wielded by the few, affecting the many. They sign it, we live it. They order it, we obey it. Here, watching, digging, remembering, from the plantation to the proclamation, from internment camps to civil rights stands, from surveillance laws to student loan draws. Order can change your life, and you might not even know it, but now you do. So stay locked in, stay woke, stay sharp. We ain't just talking about power, we tracking it. Executive Order Watch, and we ain't blinking.